All right, gang, chop chop. This is episode number 1 of segment number 9 regarding the specifics surrounding the inspection contingency and how to navigate them. Episode 1 being about the pre-execution of your purchase and sale. So you've done everything right. You're a talented, knowledgeable home seller because you're watching all of these videos and you don't need no stinking realtor. And because of that, you have raised the holy grail, the chalice of highest and best in the multiple offer situation. And due to that, you have all the options at your disposal because you've done everything correctly. If you are in the New England market in most places right now, it is very heavily weighted towards the seller side. It's still a very strong seller's market here. And that being the case, you need to leverage that fact to be able to negotiate your inspection contingency the way you would like to see it, hopefully. Now, just because it's a seller's market doesn't necessarily mean that everybody should be willing to waive their inspections and just relieve you as a seller of that potential obstacle to getting a deal done. Doesn't mean that's actually the case. And really, in the spirit of fairness, how would you feel if you had to waive a property inspection to buy the place you're going to live in for potentially the next 20, 30 years? It would be nice if you were able to actually understand what might be wrong with the home. And being a fair seller, maybe that's something you're willing to allow, but without the contingency. So we'll kind of go over the different potentialities, eventualities here that might come to pass that could benefit you the most. So you've got the multiple offer situation as we described. You have, let's say, 5 offers. Each of them have different data input into the inspection contingency field in their offer. Here in Rhode Island, the real estate law and the associated real estate documentation generally allow for buyers to have 10 business days, excluding holidays, to conduct any and all inspections, and they can be many. We've talked about them before. We'll recap them again later in this segment. But that doesn't mean that a buyer can't agree to something different than what the real estate law affords them. They have the power to change and manipulate their offer insofar as the inspection contingencies to make their offer shine through as best as possible. So it's up to you to extract the best possible scenario from these buyers. Now, let's say that all 5 buyers have made their offers with a full inspection contingency. They haven't manipulated it at all. That doesn't mean you are just supposed to select the best offer with a completely standard inspection contingency. You need to get on the horn with these different offers and explain, well, hey, there's multiple offers here, and I'm looking to try to get one of them to shine through. They're all similar. Would you be willing to waive inspections? I know that you're probably really looking to do an inspection. You want to understand what the property looks like inside, and I want that for you. In fact, I'm completely fine with you doing as many inspections as you'd like. However, the contingency is the problem. If you'd like to get your offer across the finish line and your offer to shine through past the other 4, maybe you'd be willing to waive the contingency. Whatever findings come through the inspection report are yours to do what you'd like. Maybe even I might even be willing to talk to you about maybe a credit. I'm not a monster. Maybe I would be willing to give you a couple of dollars if something really egregious has come up in that inspection report. But your opportunity to completely just drop the transaction for whatever you find in there is really making me uncomfortable. What do you think? And literally any permutation between, there are many that are common. Lots of realtors, buyers realtors these days are accustomed to offering inspections are for informational purposes only, which sounds well and good. It sounds exactly like what we just described, that the buyer is going to do their inspections, but it's only for our information. We promise not to try to ask for any negotiated credits or ask the seller for any repairs prior to closing. But it does not relieve the buyer of their option to exercise the contingency and cancel the contract based on, frankly, literally anything. The way the contingencies read, yes, the buyer is afforded an opportunity to cancel the contract based on whatever they may find in the inspection report, but functionally, pragmatically, practically, that means they can get out of that contract if they don't like the color of your lipstick that day. Literally anything. They can make up a reason. So if the buyer's broker or the buyer themselves is stating that the inspection should be for informational purposes only, make them put their money where their mouth is. Sign that inspection waiver. Seller still promises to allow as many inspections as you can fit into 10 business days. In most cases, 14 calendar days. That is one permutation. Another is that buyers are often willing to truncate or shorten their allowed inspection period, which does functionally lend a benefit to the seller. How many inspections can you really hope to conduct inside a 3-4 day period, 5-day period? You have to contract with different inspection professionals. We've gone over the common ones. We'll do that again in the next couple of segments here. But it takes time, and not only does it take time to conduct the inspections, but then to receive the inspection reports and to actually digest them, negotiate on them. A truncated inspection window is very favorable for a seller. There are others. Maybe the buyer only intends to do one inspection of a certain kind. Maybe the buyer is willing to waive inspections insofar as their desire to negotiate, but they still want the ability to capitulate and cancel the agreement. They want that out. So they're going to do inspections. They promise not to negotiate based on the findings, but they still want to retain the ability to get out of the contract if something insurmountable is found in there. I'll tell you one thing about that specific iteration. It's kind of BS, and just like informational purposes only, what ends up happening is because the buyer still has that trump card of being able to exit the contract, if they find something in that inspection report that they actually are willing to swallow for maybe a credit, a couple of $1,000s here or there, they'll ask you for it anyway because, listen, if you don't agree, buyer's got that trump card. Why not ask? But the point I'm trying to demonstrate here is that if you don't ask, you won't know. So let's say the offers that you've got, 1 out of the 5 offers has offered to waive their inspection contingency, but the offer is really not that great otherwise. You don't really like the financing, the number's not awesome. There's another offer out there with a really great number, but they want a full inspection contingency. You don't just have to swallow that higher offer call them. Call them and ask for any dang thing. Ask for the sun and the stars, hopefully you get the moon. You know how the saying goes. So fight for yourselves, but be tactful. Understand how what you say will be perceived by the other side. Try to make it known to the buyer themselves or to the buyer's agent that you are malleable, you're willing to negotiate, you want compromise. You're not just, it's a seller's market, you better take what I'm offering or hit the road or I'm taking another offer. It's never going to get you what you want. People want to be treated like they would treat other people. The golden rule comes into play here quite a lot. You get the idea. This is how we negotiate pre-purchase and sales agreement, before you sign the purchase and sales agreement. Make sure you ask for everything. Now, next, we are going to go into the actual inspection itself. Doesn't seem like a negotiation should happen during the inspection, but sometimes it does, and it's going to be up to you to kind of stay away from that as much as possible. We'll explain a little bit more in the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know where you're at. See you in the next episode.